Wait, if you're a foreigner that can speak English and Chinese in China, you will live the good life.
我们一起讲汉语，对不对？
对啊。
Hello everybody, 大家好。I'm here with my best friend Kathy. She just came back from China, but tell us about that.
I was in China for almost 9 months. I lived in a city in the north of China named Shijiazhuang. It's just 1 hour from Beijing.
We tell you reasons why you should pick up Chinese now.
Technically, Chinese is an easy language.
Wait, what do you mean?
You remember he, she, it, es, muss, mit? Do you recall eat, ate, eaten? Now, let me tell you, all of this doesn't exist in Chinese.
Then how do you conjugate in Chinese then?
You just don't. In Chinese, you just take the pronouns and just add the word.
How do you say I ate yesterday?
Well, very simple. You take I, eat, and you add the le, which means yesterday in the past. So it's 我吃了.
Alright, that makes sense. So basically Chinese consists of very short languages, very compound languages, and just the vocabulary isn't too long.
That's what Chinese students complain about when learning English. They say, why do I have to study such long words? And in Chinese you just have the 2 characters and it can mean the world.
The second reason being China is huge, and so is the population.
Little fun fact, I was in a small city in China which had 10 million inhabitants. You also surely have heard that Chinese is the widely most spoken language in the world.
Wait, isn't it English?
By native speakers, I mean.
Yeah, I've heard about that. It's almost 1.5 billion speakers in the world. You cannot complain that you don't have anybody to study with.
Reason 3 being, in China, most of the people can't speak English. It's not because they haven't studied it, but because the way they study English, it doesn't teach them to really speak English, just to read it or write it. And the older population, they just didn't learn it. I think it's very important for you to study Chinese in order to really communicate with everybody. Because when they will find out that you speak Chinese as a foreigner, they will love you.
Okay, we got it. We need to learn Chinese, but what are the benefits that come with learning Chinese and then traveling to China?
Surely the first benefit of studying Chinese is an academical one. You can really get into the best universities of China. As you may know, for Chinese students, it's very difficult to get in those universities.
Why do foreigners come into these universities and locals not?
You know, the reason is because there are so many Chinese people and they just have a limited number of students they can have. But they also want to leave space for foreigners because it means being something more international and just being open to the world, right? So they also give priorities to some foreigners which have also the abilities to study there.
What are other benefits except of going to university, you know?
Well, the second benefit I can think of is surely work. In China, as a foreigner, if you know English, okay, perfect, but if you also know Chinese, I can guarantee you they will choose you. They will find you a very well-paid job. You may be thinking, yeah, but in China the salary is not very high. Wait, if you're a foreigner that can speak English and Chinese in China, you will live the good life. Except from studying and working in China, you can, from your own country, do business with Chinese people. I mean, we all know Chinese people are all around the world because there are so many Chinese people.
You have said that 外国人 have greater advantages than even Chinese. But what are more advantages for them to live or just to travel to China?
You have also a lot of other advantages. For example, you will get a lot of attention from Chinese people because they will like you, know. They see you with the big eyes, the curly hair. Yeah, and they will just be so curious, to speak to you. Another advantage is that they can easily call you for like TV shows. You can become like a little star, because they really like to have communication with foreign people.
But wait a second, don't Chinese think 外国人 we are all the same?
Yeah, that's true. There are many stereotypes about us in China, but you know, if you learn Chinese, you can just break them.
What are such stereotypes?
For example, all foreigners can speak English very well, or all foreigners look the same. And the biggest stereotype is that Vigoran cannot speak Chinese, but you can prove them wrong.
Kathi, you have said you've been in China for 9 months,
Yes.
and you have improved your Chinese from HSK
3,
to
6.
Alright, so are you fluent in Chinese now?
I feel like I am.
What's the difference between you first going to China, not being fluent, then the last months of being fluent in China? What was the major difference about these two language levels?
As I first came to China, I could barely read the signs on the streets or in the shops, the products they had or the food they wanted to serve. I just didn't have much of a clue. I slowly started getting used to it, to hearing it so often that it just got into my brain and it was automatic after a few months. Especially going to the supermarket helps a lot because I was living in a dormitory and I needed a lot of things. Food, shampoo, toilet paper, everything. And if I didn't know how to say that, how could I find it? Supermarkets in China are huge.
Except of buying toilet paper, what are other things?
Being able to make more friends, and that was a really good thing, you know, because you're in China, so far away from your hometown. Having Chinese as my supporter, I was able to make a lot of friends because I was not afraid anymore to talk to them. I just knew I was confident in it. I already practiced Chinese for so much time.
Are you saying that when you're fluent in their language, they're more open to you?
Exactly. They will open up to you, they will tell you about their emotions, their secrets, anything. Yes?
What about the Chinese culture? It goes back for centuries. Do you understand it more?
Yeah, I surely understand it more because I studied it in China, of course. They want us foreign people to get to know more about their history and just cultural things. Like that, you get to know a lot of new words that you wouldn't maybe learn here. Wait, do you think that your audience will start learning Chinese because of those reasons?
Wait, let me think of a better reason. Listen, there was this one study that said that learning Chinese helps your brain. But what does that mean? It engages both of your brain parts, making Chinese an active exercise for your brain. And us as Europeans, you will just be more open-minded. It's just a different language. It's a different writing system. It's a tonal language, something that we as Europeans do not have.
That's right. I feel like I opened my mind so much by learning Chinese.
Okay, so these were the 7 reasons why you should learn Chinese now. Best friend Kathi will soon start her own YouTube channel. Tell us what you will talk about in there.
I plan to talk about China as a main topic, but also the exchange student experience, life in China in general, the food, the culture, stereotypes, tips, everything you will want to know.
Remember her because you will see her many times more on my channel. And that was it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out her channel and I will see you in my next video. 再见!